Check out Twin Shadow tonight at the A&R Bar, presented by CD 1025, and Eclipse is out now on Warner Brothers Records. We were talking about LA. Did you buy a wetsuit when you moved out there?
That's one of the first things I did.
Now, have you taken up surfing then?
I have taken up surfing.
And?
I'm no slouch on the surfboard, but I certainly look like a fool when I stand next to some of those other guys.
See, that's what I tell people when I go skiing. People go, "Oh, are you a good skier?" I go, "Well, I can get from the top to the bottom without falling, but I'm pretty sure I look stupid."
Yeah, I still have. Growing up in Florida, you have this kind of crazy fear of sharks.
Yeah.
So I still have that, and I think it's limiting my performance.
Well, you've seen Jaws. You should be terrified, right? Well, that's good, because that's something I've always wanted to try, and someday I will.
It's amazing.
You just got to do it, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other LA thing is that you have done some work with Billy Idol.
It's true.
You got a dish on that. Tell us about Billy Idol.
So I got a call from my manager one day, and he said, Billy Idol's people just called me, and he wants to come work with you. And I was like, what? Okay, what does that mean? And he's like, well, he wants to write songs with you. So I'd been in the cemetery about 2 weeks. And
for those of you just joining us on this broadcast, Twin Shadow is recording at the cemetery.
So I was there for about 2 weeks, and we arranged for Billy and I to work for about 2 weeks together in the cemetery. And it was funny because I ride a Triumph, and he a yellow Triumph, and he pulled up on his green Triumph.
Nice.
And it was just funny. I just parked my bike, and then I hear this, and he drives up the driveway in the cemetery. And I was just like, this couldn't be more surreal. He walked up, introduced himself, super nice. I was expecting him to kind of like walk up and punch me first.
Sure.
Or something like that.
Did he sneer, though, at least?
The lip is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It actually happens in real life.
Yeah.
Not just in music videos.
So he shows up. Do you have some songs already prepared for him? Or?
I had some stuff prepared. I'd kind of spent, Billy Idol's coming. You kind of got to be prepared, So I wrote some songs before he got there. But what was great was that we really worked, hand in hand on all these songs that we wrote. He's very active, very present. He wants to write. He's excited to write. So we had a really good time. But the funniest thing was that the day he came in, the kind of owner of the cemetery and the guy who allowed us to record there really wanted to meet him. And I was like, okay, if you guys could just come in but not make a big deal of it, because I just met the guy myself. And they're like, yeah, we just want to come in and say hi. And they come in and they say, oh, Billy, used to sneak in here with girls all the time in the 80s. And also you shot the promo cover to White Wedding outside the door here.
No kidding.
And he was like, he was clueless about it.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, that would probably sum up the 80s for you. Not being able to remember something like that. But apparently the story is he shot that the promo shot for White Wedding was shot right outside of where we were recording outside the.
And he had no memory?
He was pretty clueless about it. But in all fairness, I mean, the guy has been around the world a million times.
I have some friends in the business who interviewed him in 1984 at the height of his fame. And I can tell you that there's a reason why he doesn't remember it, because it was a notorious interview.
What's cool is that he remembers everything else. He told me some of the most amazing stories about a time in music that's one of my favorite, which is the whole punk scene in the UK at the time, at the end of the 70s and early 80s. And he told me such amazing stories, and he's one of the sweetest people I've met in a long time.
That's cool. He should write a book. Has he written a book yet? He should. I don't know. I'm going to look. Yeah, how about you write it?
I'll write his book, yeah.
Yeah, because you're working on something anyway, right?
Always working on stuff.
Yeah. Where are we at with the novel?
Well, I didn't intend to publish Night of the Silver Sun, but there's a lot of, I guess, demand, so maybe I might have to.
All right. When? Because I want to read it. I'm a reader.
I don't know. There's a lot of steps, you know.
All right. Maybe he has the manuscript with him. I'll just slip it in. And then when you're done with that, write the Billy Ida book. That is a great story. And thank you so much for telling it and for being here. Twin Shadow at the A&R Bar tonight, presented by CD 1025. The album is Eclipse, out now on Warner Brothers Records. One more, and then we'll turn you loose. What are you going to play?
We're going to play it To the Top.